Hello, 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 whoever's going to be in the house here now. And yeah, we're doing change of scenery in the off season thread. Lots of talk. I wanted to look at, what was it? Did I get rid of it? Oh, shoot, no. Yeah, no, I didn't. Right here. Hey, how you doing, Kyle? So I was looking at an article here. I got to get you up on my chat so I can see y'all. I was looking at an article here, and it was talking. I just did a video on Gibson being traded in the offseason. 5 teams that Gibson might go to in the offseason. The reason Elliot Friedman brought this up, he was on Bob Stauffer's show for Oilers Now, and he said, I think this summer is going to be wild. He thought John Gibson was one of the guys that could be moved. But he also talked about possibly what other teams were there? Scheifele. If he wants to do a full rebuild. Now, I have questions whether he wants to do a full rebuild or not. I've heard two sides of it, but I thought I would do the deal just in case he went out. And like, Doug Waite as the Oilers. Oh wow! Hey, how you doing, Oilers man? Uh, I get the impression that Gibson wants out. Like I really think Gibson, even like more than Anaheim, wants to try. Like he's 28 years old now. He signed a long-term contract. Um, I think Verbeek is going to have to sell him on staying, which means that Verbeek is going to basically tell him, look, we traded Lindholm, we traded Manson, we got a bunch of picks. We're going to use those picks, but we're gonna go out to free agency and try to grab some players as building blocks to be better right away. And they're going to have to sell him on that. But I just think that Gibson has heard this song and dance too much now. 3 years, for 3 years, his save percentage, his numbers have really suffered. He just looks tired. He looks tired to me, and I think he wants to move on. I do. Now, if they don't do it that way, by the way, don't forget to hit that like button if you're in here. If he does like it, yeah, exactly. Like you can't see the future success there really. You see Zegras, you see Milano, you see some guys, but once you see Lindholm and Manson go out, I really don't see anything like I thought them getting Vekalainen was a great move, but he's still a kid. Fowler and Drysdale. Drysdale's great, but it would look to me if I was just a casual observer or if I was in the organization, you're looking at it going, is this team really going to be relevant in the next 2-3 years? I'm 28 years old. Do I want to be a goaltender that isn't even in a cup contending team until I'm 32? And it just goes from watching the games to me. Oh yeah, ducks are toast. We know that for sure. Welcome, Rick Ryan. Thanks for coming in, buddy. I'll give you a little Pearlo dance. I don't remember your name in here for a while, or ever. But we're talking about Gibson being traded in the offseason. I think he wants out. I don't think it's going to be much of a sit. It talks about in the article, it says that Pat Verbeek and Gibson are going to sit down and see where their future is there. And I really see little chance that Gibson's going to be like, I want to be part of this. I really don't see it. So I did 5 teams that he'll be traded to. And as far as Anaheim is concerned, it would suck. Like, if you could find a way to be good right now, but if you look at the free agent market coming up, you just traded away 2 veterans. I mean, the perception, I believe the perception is going to be in the general NHL is that, you're not going to be a contender for a while. You want to knock it out of the park. Okay, let's say that they decide that they trade Lindholm and they trade Manson, and the reason why they're doing it is they want to get and Raquel, and they want to add more free agents and use those picks to keep on building but still be good at the same time. That's basically what he's going to have to sell if he's doing that. He hasn't come out and said this is a full rebuild or anything like that. I'm going to have the video out hopefully tonight. This is gym night for me tonight, but I'm going to try to have I can't tell you what. You got to watch the video. Actually, I should let you know because you have to promise me you'll watch the video anyway, Mr. Mercer. But I had Detroit, New Jersey, Edmonton, Toronto. Detroit, New Jersey, Edmonton, Toronto. There was one more team. Was it? I can't even think of the 5th team now. Detroit, New Jersey, Edmonton, Toronto, and who is the 5th team? Detroit, New Jersey. But, okay, let's say he does that. Who is he going to get on the free agent market? I mean, Gaudreau's going to get signed. Philip Forsberg's going to get signed. I'm pretty sure. I can't see that Nashville's letting Forsberg go without trading him. It doesn't make any sense to me. You're going to get Trocheck and Riley Smith or something like that. Maybe Strome. I'm pretty sure Colorado's going to sign Kadri. You could maybe get a Calvin DeHaan. Assuming all these players want to even go to your team after trading away the nucleus of your team the year before, right? Like, I think it would be a pretty uphill battle to fill that roster so it's competitive enough soon to do that. So I just don't see it happening. But who are the other teams? Who was the other team? Was it Colorado? Yeah, it's going to be tough for them because they're capped out. And he hates giving up his 1st round pick for anything. So, I don't know. I would love it, but it was Detroit. See, Detroit's on the precipice of being ready. Stevie Y could convince Gibson. Like, Anaheim looks like they're like really well down in the rebuild stage, where Detroit looks like they could be close, So I had Detroit in there. He has a 10-team no-trade clause, so any one of these teams could be on there. I had New Jersey. I had New Jersey as a number 1 spot for him to go. They have tons of prospects. I believe most of their players are hitting that age where it's ready to go. They didn't sell at the deadline, so they're looking to buy, I think, this year. It's time for New Jersey to start becoming what they're going to become and fill the holes that drafting didn't fill. And goaltending certainly would be there. The other one was it Islanders? No. Colorado. I think it was Los Angeles. Might have been Los Angeles. Washington. That's what it was. It was Washington. It was Washington. That's what it was. Oh, no. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, if you're Edmonton, goaltending seems to be the number one issue right now. So I would think that that would be the thing to do, right? Like, it looks like is Rick Ryan still in here? Mr. Rick Ryan, did you just come in and walk away because we were talking about Anaheim? If you're in here, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, by the way. But I don't know. Gibson's only 28 years old. He signed $6 million for a while. You don't sign Koskinen. I think it's going to cost you Puljujärvi, maybe Nikolainen, the defense prospect that came up a little bit this year, and their first round pick. Something like that, I think, is what it's going to cost you. I do it. I love Puljujärvi. I really love Puljujärvi. I think he's going to be a very good player, but you're talking about a stud goaltender at a time when you're supposed to be in win now mode. Covers up a lot of the defensive holes there. I definitely do that deal. I'm going to share this out so we get more people in here. Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody goes cray cray. I don't even think it's cray cray. It's really tough because goaltenders are tough, and he's got a 10-team no trade, so they might not even be able to do it because like people generally don't flock to Edmonton. Players don't seem to flock to Edmonton all that much. So, maybe he's on the no trade clause list. Maybe he's not. I'm not sure. He's from Pittsburgh. That was the other reason why I like New Jersey quite a bit. Is you're basically, right beside PA. So, I think that would be a good fit for him there. I think he would be most motivated to go to New Jersey as well, if he likes being close to home, which most teams do. I think Washington will be in there, but it would be tough for Washington with the cap space that they have, and it would cost them Vanacek. I think the Oilers should beat the Kings tomorrow with the way their defense is banged up like that, for sure. I would think so. I would hope so. Yeah, I look for the over there for sure. And then I don't know who's going to be in net, though. The thing about LA is they shoot a lot, though. So they shoot a whole ton. And Koskinen's a great goaltender if he doesn't get shots. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I went against a lot of people who said that Seattle was going to probably win that game. And they were right. I was wrong. I had LA with a little parlay with Edmonton, but it kind of pissed me off too. Gibson to Toronto, yeah. No, something was. Hey, there's people that knew something was in the air there in LA. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that they got a lot of young players in that have been. This is like their third or fourth game playing with Murari and a lot of young players that are not used to the NHL grind. And it showed last night, and so. Talk about goaltending and talk about LA. I should have kept. I don't know why I took LA off the. I think LA has got to be one that they'd be looking at too. Because, I think it was because Peterson signed up for $5 million for a long time. And maybe, he just hasn't knocked it out of the park. And I don't think Anaheim would want to take a chance on that for Gibson. I think that's what it was. And they would have to give up Peterson in order to do the deal. But LA, their problem is going to be goaltending. Peterson just hasn't made it there yet still. He looks really good sometimes, but his consistency is not up to par there for sure. Yeah, they beat teams in bad spots. But I wouldn't have said LA was in a bad spot, but I really should have looked at the fact that they've been using that young defense. So, and that defense isn't going to change against Edmonton. So I would say Edmonton over LA is really good. Yeah, but did you hear McKinnon is out? McKinnon is out for an undetermined amount of time. He had an orbital bone injury before, and he got in a fight last game, right? And turns out it probably wasn't a very good idea because he's out tonight, and they don't know how long he's going to be out for. So before I even heard that, I had Calgary tonight. I have a hard time going against Calgary right now. Their compete level is to a point where I'm kind of concerned with them come playoff time. However, you got to put it trust Sutter on that. But he better be back for the playoffs. I imagine, I think it's possible you might not see him until the playoffs, if whatever this injury is, because they're going to make darn good and sure that he's perfectly healthy for the playoffs. No Landeskog and no McKinnon. So what does that look like for them? But I had Calgary before that, so I'm sticking with Calgary now. Nichushkin, Kadri, Rantanen. Lehkonen is in tonight for the first time with Newhook and Burakovsky. Still not a bad lineup. Their lineup as it is right now would be like a lot of teams would be happy to have their lineup, even with McKinnon and Landeskog out. But Cogliano, Helm, and O'Connor on the fourth line. JT Compher, Sturm. It's a pretty decent lineup. But Artturi Lehkonen has never played with these guys before. And Burakovsky, Newhook, and Lehkonen is a completely new line. And usually that means that, things don't go well because they've never played with each other. So chemistry is a little difficult there. They haven't found their chemistry yet. So I think Calgary wins this one. I should almost go in regulation, actually. I really think that they're going to win that game. But the thing is what can often happen is that a team will go play like super hard for their captain, right? They don't want to let McKinnon down in this game because he already got injured, so they want to win the game for him so he doesn't feel that's the tough part. That's the part I'm not too fond of. I almost like Colorado more with McKinnon in here. Was my stream going wacko again? I notice I'm losing everybody. Oh, yeah, it was a perfect trade for him. He already played with Sutter before. He played with like a lot of guys on that team already. It was like the perfect spot for him. And I think Montreal did that on purpose. Like the return Montreal got, you think about what they got for Lehkonen and Sherratt and what Tampa gave up for Hagel. Calgary did very well to get Toffoli for a second round prospect. What was it? They didn't even give up their first in that deal, did they? Oh, 2022 first, yeah. 2022, which is a weaker first. Emil Heineman and Tyler Pitlick. I mean, they did really good in that deal. It was a 2022 first. Pitlick, which is whatever. And Heineman, who we'll see what he turns out to be, but it looks like he's going to be, a second or third liner. And when you consider what Tampa Bay gave up for Hagel, what their return that they got for Lehkonen was almost as good as that. So I think they were doing Toffoli a favor. And I think they were doing that on purpose because they're trying to show to their organization, the people that are in, the players that they have who have gone through a terrible year, and to future free agents that want to come, that, you know what, we made a mistake. We're going to make sure we take care of you and send you to where you want to go. So if Toffoli was really truly on the open market, they would have got way more than that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think they could have added another deal and added another pick and knocked it out of the park in that deal. So, Doug, I don't know if are you still here, Doug? My stream settings thing is all wacko. It says that nobody's in the chat, so I don't know who's in here. But we were talking about Gibson possibly going to Detroit, Doug. Yeah, like I said, I think Montreal was doing something nice for Toffoli. You think he just signed that deal? He didn't want to be traded. He didn't sign that deal to get traded. And it looks really bad to the rest of the league when you pick up a player like that and you trade him right away. Like it makes people second guess where they want if they want to sign with you. And apparently they're looking out on the free agent market this year. So let's look at the free agent market again. I'm going to take a look at the free agent market here again. And, what are they going to try to get? I heard that if Pittsburgh doesn't sign Chris Letang, that Montreal was looking at that, but that doesn't make sense to me. I think if they were looking for anybody, it would be younger guys like Philip Forsberg, who I doubt they'll be able to get. I'm pretty sure Nashville will re-sign him. Otherwise, they would have traded him. Same as Johnny Gaudreau. I don't think that'll happen. It's like, who are they going to get? Vinny Trocheck, maybe? I'm not really understanding. Like this one, they want to do a super quick rebuild. So it's going to be probably younger free agents. But I honestly just don't see anybody out there that's going to put you into, like, except unless it's Kopp, which I'm sure he'll sign with the Rangers. Maybe Brian Rust. Maybe they'll try to do something like that, but I think Detroit. What did I have Detroit? I had Detroit going with Zadina almost immediately because he's just been struggling in Detroit. And apparently he beats himself up a lot and all that kind of stuff like that. And they can't seem to get him to have confidence in himself. So it's not working. Whatever they're trying to do, whatever angle they're using with Zadina, it's not working. Now they'd be selling low on Zadina because he hasn't become what anybody expected him to become. But I think they could add him in this package and still look pretty good. But he would be an add-in in the package. So I think I had Zadina, Nedeljkovic, Vollander, and possibly a second-round pick or something like that. Maybe Vollander would be enough. I love Vollander. Zadina, Vollander, and Nedeljkovic. They got to have a goaltender go back. Nedeljkovic isn't bad, but he's no Gibson. I love Vollander. He's really progressed well in Sweden. He's had a great year. And they got Edvinsson already coming up. He was a late first-round pick. I think he's going to play for sure. How good is he going to be? I'm not sure. And I guess that would completely depend on how good they think Vollander is going to be. Not much better judge of talent than Stevie Y and the staff he puts together. So, I mean, if they think he's going to be a top 2 guy or something like that, then they'll probably keep him. But they got that Edvinsson kid coming up. I know you're not touching him. There's no way they're touching him. Let me see what he's done in Sweden so far. Hey, Joey, how you doing, buddy? In Sweden this year, yeah, his offense has gone off this year. Swedish Elite League, he had 19 points in 47 games this year. And he hasn't really been like a super offensive guy. I liked him. I wanted Philadelphia to draft him since we got Serrano in here when he was available. I think Philly could have drafted him, and I would have drafted him. I love the guy. I absolutely love the guy. Yeah, I mean, I think Nedeljkovic is good enough for what they need. You know what I mean? And, you have an opportunity, maybe he goes off. Maybe he just goes to the roof or whatever. But hey, how you doing? Go Caps! Maybe he goes off and they have the time to see if that works out there. Where I think Detroit's going to start adding quite a bit right now. I think this is it, I think. It's been long enough now. I think it's time for Detroit to start filling in some holes. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I think Pittsburgh wins that game. Hi, how you doing, Go Caps? We were trading Gibson to Washington today. Big Washington Caps fan. It would be a tough trade, but you can see in my, I'll be posting my another trade video here right away. And you can see what I offer up and stuff like that. NHL Hockey News, where all the people in the land are coming in. Woo! Thanks for coming in. Smash that like button, everybody. Send it out to all the land, too. Don't be afraid to send it out to all the social media sites out there and tell people how wonderful it is here. I think it's been long enough, yeah. I mean, you got a lot of great kids there. You got a you got a possible Norris level defenseman. You got Edvidson coming up. They still got a lot of good young guys on the precipice of coming into the lineup right now. You got Raymond. You got whatever your top pick is this year. But it's possible, though, that Stevie Y is wanting to flub one more year with the possibility of getting Bedard or Michka or whatever his name is. Yeah. No, it's not official. It was just a trade. What's his name? Elliot Freeman said that basically it sort of gave the indication that Anaheim, there's a lot of teams going to be doing a lot of stuff. It's going to be a pretty crazy summer. And Anaheim trading Gibson looked like a pretty good possibility. So I did 5 teams that Gibson could be traded to. No, I didn't see the slashing call. I watch a whole lot of games at one time, so I don't always see. Why did he miss somebody completely and they called it a slash or something? So what do you think about your team right now? Maybe he goes to Pittsburgh. That would be interesting. I don't know if, I mean, when you look at all the people that might be interested, I'm not sure Pittsburgh's going to have what it takes to be able to get a Gibson. Unless they really like Jari, because Jari would have to go back. I'll grab the stick and... Yeah, I had Carolina to win that game. Sorry, Go Caps, but... Habs are, I believe, 10, 7, and 2. I didn't quite understand what you're telling. Oh, with St. Louis. 10-7-2 with St. Louis. Yeah, I actually don't have the Habs to win tonight, but I do have them to keep it close. I got Montreal plus 1.5. Florida's coming off that long road trip right now. I think it's going to be a little bit tough to get up for this Montreal game. It's kind of a nothing game for them. So if they're a little tired, they're a little like jet lagged a bit or whatever. It was a tough road trip. They looked bad against. They looked tired against Toronto. And you get home. Is it only one day off there? Is it? Yeah, it's only one day off. This is 4 games, and this is a bad spot for Florida. I think Montreal makes a game of it tonight. Yeah, well, I mean, in this spot here, you got Florida played 3 games in 4 nights, played Toronto, and then flew from Toronto to Florida. How long is that? I don't care how good of a team you are, when you're tired, you're not, Florida. 2 hours and 42 minutes. Pretty good flight. Time change and everything. And I don't think Montreal has really had any. Montreal should have better legs tonight. What's Montreal have? Montreal has. Yeah, there's just 4 games and 6 nights for them as well, though. But it's been like, okay, they played Florida at home, then Toronto at home. Yeah, they haven't had anywhere near the travel, so. The Habs are in Florida. But it really doesn't matter because the Panthers, like I said, they just traveled 2.5 hours. And they played 3 tough games. They played Montreal, then they went to Ottawa, then they went to Toronto. And then they flew 2.5 hours yesterday with time change. And now they got to play Montreal. But the thing about, I mean, it's also a case of getting up for games. Like, Florida is so in a playoff spot right now. What do you mean they haven't started their first game at home? Oh, are you talking about? Oh, you mean of the season? Are you talking about they haven't started their first game at home of the season? What was I about to say? Oh, yeah. What does Florida play after this? I don't think I even looked at that. See, Montreal's got Florida, Carolina, Tampa Bay. That's a tough road trip. But they're playing loose. They're out of it now. I mean, they're playing for pride, right? And Florida, Florida plays Chicago at home. Okay, it's not really an overlooked spot, but I just think they're going to have some. I think a really good thing here would be Montreal plus 0.5 first period. I wonder if I should put that in. I think at the very least, Montreal's going to have the better legs in the first period. Hey, Leafs Addict, how you doing, man? Leafs Addict in the house. It's always at Sabres or Leafs. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. I could see the league doing that for the Sabres, but why would it matter for the Leafs? I'm doing fantastic, my friend. Doing fantastic. So you got the Leafs and Boston tonight. Man, I'm not on the right side of anybody here. I got Boston winning that tonight. Yeah, that's cool. I should be on for about that long. Actually, I don't. Yeah, I'll probably be on for about another 3/4 an hour. I got something I gotta do. But I got Boston tonight in that game. Swayman versus Mrazek. Yeah, Swayman versus Mrazek. What's Toronto? Boston's been at home for a while. Toronto's on 3 games in 4 nights. And what do they got? What do they got after Boston? Not that it matters. It can't be an overlook game. I mean, when you're playing Boston, you're not overlooking anything, I don't think. This is a huge game. Possible playoff matchup. Now, Boston's got New Jersey, and they're still at home for 2 more days. And Toronto's probably on the road again? No, back home again. Oh, they're in a weird spot. They're in an annoying spot. They played Florida. Then they go on the road to Boston and then come home to Winnipeg. Those are annoying. Like, I know most things are taking care of these players, but you got to get, like, it's like you finish a big game against Florida, then you got to jump on a plane, get yourself set up to jump on a plane, go to Boston, get your hotel set up and everything. And you know that as soon as the game is over, you got to jump on another plane. It's only a short trek. And then go back home again against Winnipeg. And then you're back on the road again to Philadelphia. Man, oh man, oh man. But that's nowhere near as bad as Nashville. You'll take the Leafs tonight? Really? Yeah, I mean, they could carry over that Florida game hype and well, I mean, this is for who's going to be. Doesn't Boston leapfrog the Leafs here in this game? And the funny thing is, okay, this is the reason why. If the Leafs end up in the first, wild card, they don't play Tampa Bay. And I don't know. I think that for them, they'll think about that more than Boston will. Boston is like, they play with like this base mentality. Every win, and that's it. It doesn't matter what the consequences are. Leafs versus Boston playoff series. I think if Boston wins this game, they're going to play Tampa. And then the Leafs, I mean, that's not, there's still the rest of the season to go, but they'll be in the spot to play Tampa. And the Leafs will go down in the first wild card, and that'll give them, that'll give them Florida, right? As of right now. Imagine the Leafs versus Florida. If there's a team they might have a chance against, I would say that's it. I'd say they have more of a chance against Florida than they do Tampa Bay. You got Bob. I mean, goaltending is going to be their biggest concern, the Leafs. They're going to hope to hell that Campbell gets healthy and hot. So if you're going to play against a team in the first round, if you have to choose between Tampa and Vasilevsky and Florida and Bobrovsky, I think I'd take Florida and Bobrovsky, right? So now, and I don't know, I just get the feeling that Toronto would think about that more. Oh, I didn't mean to delete that. Say that again, Leafs. I meant to show it, and I hit the wrong button. Say whatever you said again. Sorry about that, Leafs. But I mean, seriously, if I had a choice, like I'm not saying I would lose a game on purpose for it to happen, but if I did have a choice to play Florida or Tampa, I would want to play Florida. Especially if I'm the Leafs, where goaltending is probably going to be one of my biggest issues. And then Boston versus Tampa Bay. I mean, any one of those series is going to be amazing to watch. If Tampa Bay plays against Toronto, I think Toronto's got a better chance against Florida. And then Washington would play Carolina. Carolina will absolutely annihilate the Washington Capitals. That would be like the worst matchup that I think that Washington could have. So let's say Toronto does take Florida, and I think it's more likely that they could. Carolina then they would play Carolina. And Tampa Bay, Boston, I swear, man, that's a freaking coin flip, really. If who are you going with in the playoffs? If you're Boston Bruins. Who are you playing? You're playing Allmark or you're playing the kid? You're playing the kid, right? Well, I think the Leafs could have a pretty decent chance against Florida. I mean, yeah, it's not because it's Bobrovsky, man. I mean, the guy hasn't really been good for a while. He's been okay this year, but he hasn't been great. Like, he hasn't been lights out great. Yeah, they might as well throw Swayman in and get him his playoff experience, right? Might as well get it right now, I'd say. I think they're kind of regretting that Allmark deal now. I mean, Allmark still has upside, I imagine, but I mean, 5 million, whoo boy. I seriously am considering already trading Allmark if you can in the off season now. However, I don't know what you would get for him now. He didn't have a stellar year, so it might be a little tough to do that. But you think the Knights are? Well, I think you could get a lot of games if Bobrovsky does Bobrovsky things. He may get more games than you think. I mean, he looks good, but he looks good for his age, but he's not ready to be a playoff goaltender, I don't think that. He looks fantastic for, what, a 20-year-old goaltender? Like, he's going to be a beast, no doubt about it, but he's still pretty young. Maybe he takes over completely if Bobrovsky drops the ball, which I think is just possible. I think it's very possible that Bobrovsky drops the ball in the playoffs. And like I said, like every time Florida has to play a playoff type game, like when they got to grind it out on the road, they lose. They lost against Toronto. They lose against they are that at the end of the Western road trip that they did. They played Seattle, and that was a grinded out game where they were tired. And that's really the teams that win the cup are the teams that can play tired. And Florida seems to lose every game that's in a bad spot where you're tired. And the Washington Capitals are like that too. Yeah, it's not spectacular, is it? No. Not for a guy making $5 million a year, no. You have to wonder if there would be anybody out there that'd be willing to take a chance at the rest of that contract. I mean, he looked better in Buffalo last year than he looked in Boston this year. I don't know if it's the pressure of the contract or you got this kid the Swayman kid riding your ass too, right? Like it's pretty intimidating to get up every day and watch this 20-year-old kid be better than you. It's pretty intimidating, I would say. Might be a little hard on the confidence. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge a goaltender in Philly. Although Jones was really bad. Nothing is off topic if you're talking about hockey. You can talk about anybody that's in here, whatever we're talking about, say, oh, I'm not interested in that. Well, just write down what you are interested in because we will talk about any team, anywhere. So if you got a team right now and you're a Florida fan or you're a whatever, we're not talking about it, right down there, we'll try to get to it because we talk about all the teams in the NHL. I mean, it's hard to judge a goaltender in Philly, but it's not, except for Jones, though. I mean, Jones has just been bad everywhere he's been. He's been bad even though he has a bad defense there in front of him this year, Jones. Just no matter what anyone tries with Jones, he's just not there. He's just not there. They brought his AHL goaltender coach in Philly to help him, and that didn't even help. In San Jose, they brought Nabokov, who was like the goaltender whisperer. See what he did for Reinhardt's. Getting Reinhardt, was it Reinhardt? Not Reinhardt. Reimer. Got him back on track. Hey, Bill T in the house. Welcome in, buddy. Thanks for coming in. But they couldn't get Jones there. Like, they tried how many goaltender coaches in San Jose and everything, and he was just consistently bad. Goes to Philadelphia. They think they got the magic elixir to make Jones good again, and no, he's not. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. Did they sign him to a 2-year deal? My gosh, he's got to be the worst goaltender to make that much money. The most money for the worst goaltender to make the most money in the NHL. Yeah, I just don't like the spot for Toronto. Coming off that Florida win, it's one of those home and then you got to go on the road for one and then come back home again. And I'd like to know what the record for those games are, the teams that do that. But by the way, here's a tip for you. Fade Nashville after this game pretty much for their next 5 games. Knight is only 2, yeah. How old is Swayman? He's like 20, isn't he? Yeah, I just like Pittsburgh in that spot, even though Shesterkin is in net. I feel like Pittsburgh is going to control that game. Didn't Pittsburgh lose 5-1 the last time they played the Rangers? So, I mean, at home, Jari could crap the bed. He's known to do that every once in a while, so that could be it. And Shesterkin could rob the game, but I think Pittsburgh in that spot is the way to go. What was I looking at? Yeah, that's right. Boston Bruins. So he is 23. So he's 23, okay. I thought he was younger than that. I thought Swayman was younger than that. Still pretty fantastic for his age. Oh, Shesterkin gets a Vezina hands down, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. The Rangers are barely a playoff team if you trade Shesterkin for just about any other goaltender out there, just about. For an average goaltender. Like, if the Rangers had Talbot, they don't even make the playoffs this year. Or, Merzlikins, or, your average good goaltender for the Rangers this year, the Rangers probably don't make the playoffs this year. That's how amazing he is. Not only should he get the Vezina, he should also get the Hart. Oh, yeah. If Minnesota drops the ball on that one, I don't know what to say, man. Minnesota should absolutely crush that game. Crush. Like, just for the fear of the embarrassment alone. Like, the only way they lose that game is if they just get, like, if it's just completely cocky like St. Louis did against Philadelphia that game. If they're just, but I don't see them having those type of. Kaprizov should be able to just have a field day with that defense tonight. Oh my God! And then Jones in net as well. The only reason why the only reason I don't have the over is because I don't think Philadelphia is going to score enough. Like, if Philadelphia wins that game, I should just give up handicapping all together. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous. There's like a 5% chance. I would have to give it a 5% chance if Philadelphia wins that game. The only thing they got going for them is they're playing so loose, right? Like, it doesn't. They're not holding their sticks tight. All they got to do is just go out and play. And also has been one of the most underrated players for a very long time, Boone Jenner, for sure. I mean, Florida could of course win that game, but I like Montreal to keep it close at least. It's just a tough spot for Florida coming off the road like that, and you got to play right away. Like, they were tired when they hit Florida. They just went on like a 6 or 7 game road, 6 game road trip or something like that. And then they come home and now they gotta, like, as when you've been gone that long, you come home and then you got family issues and all that kind of stuff like that. And there's sort of an energy of the guys being together on the road. And then you come home and everybody kind of disperses to their homes. And then you got to come back and it's like you got to rebuild that energy all over again. Now, if any team can do that, it's Florida, especially against Montreal. But Montreal's playing with a hell of a lot of pride right now. Yeah, they still haven't confirmed Allen. Is Montreal on a back-to-back there too, aren't they? But why would you not play Allen here? Who would be on the other side of this back-to-back? Nothing. They got Carolina after this. I guess, maybe you're right. Maybe you put Molten Bowl in here because you got Florida in a bad spot. And you save Allen for Carolina, Tampa Bay. But if it's me, I'm trying to play Allen for all of them. Is Carolina on a back-to-back anywhere here? When Carolina plays Montreal, that'll be their first game off a small road trip. And when Tampa plays Montreal, they'll be on a back-to-back. So I'll play Molten Bowl against Tampa because they'll probably have Elliott in net. So I imagine Allen will be in here now. Yeah, I mean, Allen can go off tonight. I think Florida's going to have some heavy legs. They just flew from Toronto, which is a 2.5 hour flight with the time change. And, Florida doesn't need this win. It's all subconscious. Like, nobody's going to say, yeah, whatever with Montreal. Like, you want to put it in your mindset to win every game. But some games is a little tougher to get up for. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Price. What did you hear about that? About in the beginning of next season too? Wow. I guess they're making sure he's physical, whatever, has got the strength to be able to do whatever he needs to do. But Oh, you know what? Shoot. No, I don't need to go yet. Nashville, Ottawa. We didn't talk about that. It's going to be really interesting to see how Ottawa responds because Melnick passed away. You all know that Melnick, the owner of the Ottawa Senators, passed away. Price is the best. He's certainly up there, that's for sure. I really love to see him get a cup. My gosh. Honestly, yeah. But I don't think he's going to leave Montreal. I think Montreal is going to go grab some free agents again, take their draft picks, and just keep on going. I think that's what they're going to do. Well, I'm sure that's what he wants him to do. I think Bergeron. I don't know. I don't know the guy, but from what I've seen of him, I don't think he's lost the fire to play. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter how you spell his name. I got you. That's a weird situation. It's going to be interesting to see because, I mean, the impression you get is that he wasn't a very liked guy, really. So go do your homework then, I suppose. So I haven't touched that side. I just don't know what the whole Melnick thing is going to do. I like if you ask me, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, we got to play for Melnick tonight. I just don't think so. I think he just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think there might be sort of a sense of relief tonight. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what the relationship Melnick had with the players and all that kind of stuff like that. But I'm staying away from it because it's possible that we don't know really much about Melnick. We just like I just think I do, like only know it from the outside, and everybody absolutely loved him. In which case, Ottawa comes out and plays for Melnick tonight, and they just crush, right? Peyton had a channel update. Really? Are you talking about the OGR after the game, Edmonton? Are you talking about the OGR? Oilers game review? Or is there another one? Oh, yeah. The baseball. He's going to be doing baseball. He's going to be doing a 12-hour stream celebrating his 800 viewers and 800 subscribers, I mean. And we're going to be doing baseball together, actually, him and I. We're going to start doing some Jays live streams and stuff like that because we're big Blue Jays fans. Now, when you go on that stream, you hear me talk about hockey right now. I won't be talking about hockey, baseball like that. I'm not even going to try to pretend I know all the players or anything like that. I'll be doing it from like a straight fan perspective. I root for Toronto. I root for the Jays. I'm a big Jays fan. But I'm not like this massive baseball fan. I'm not like this massive baseball fan. So, anyways, I still got to lean Nashville there because I just don't think it makes that much of a difference for Ottawa. But we'll find out tonight. There's enough of a makes it enough of a question mark that I'm staying away from it. The Calgary, Colorado. I already said I got Colorado, and I like Dallas tonight against Anaheim. I can't like Anaheim no matter what right now. That team is really young. They all know now that they're not going to be cup contenders. They're tired because they've been playing a lot of. They have a lot of young players that have played a lot of games in the NHL this year, and it's that just physically takes a toll on anyone, especially young players that aren't used to it. It takes a while to be able to learn and be strong enough and have the mental strength enough to play an 82 game schedule in the NHL. And that's the reason why coaches generally don't play young players a lot. Yeah, when is that stream? I don't know. I'd have to listen to it. When did he say that stream is going to be? I forgot to wear my hat. That's what was missing. I forgot to wear my hat. Oh my gosh, Minnesota Wild are going to extend Goligoski. So the Minnesota Wild signed Goligoski to a 2-year extension at $2 million per. Wow. Wow. That's I didn't see that coming. And ever since they got Middleton in, he's been a healthy scratch, but they still gave him a 2-year, $2 million deal. Goligoski, $2 million, $2 deal. Hey, how you doing, buddy? You came in, unfortunately, right when I got to kind of head out here soon. Soon. I like Pittsburgh tonight. Sorry, Mark. I gotta say, I just like Pittsburgh. I like the spot they're in. Uh, Pittsburgh. Yeah, their second game of a homestand. They're pretty rested. The Rangers beat them pretty good last game. And for the Rangers, Where's the Rangers? Rangers. Home. First game of a road stand. Yeah, they got Detroit tomorrow. I mean, the Rangers are certainly gonna want to win this game. No doubt about that. But my lean is Pittsburgh tonight. It's sort of a revenge game. The only thing is Jari, right? Like when Jari's good, the Pittsburgh can beat any team. If Jari flubs, which we all know he's known to do, then probably New York can win that game. And Shesterkin hasn't been like on top of his game, which isn't really his fault. I mean, he's saved games for New York all year long. But I think that's what you're kind of relying on here in this spot for the Rangers. I think you're sort of relying on Shesterkin to win. And against other teams, maybe I could see that. But I think Pittsburgh now, like they just had 11 goals against Detroit. They found their mojo. Now, that wasn't easy. I mean, Detroit's defense is absolutely deplorable right now, right? The Rangers' defense is better, but it's also overrated too. Yeah, I mean, for some teams, like coming off an 11-2 victory, you would say that maybe they could be overconfident in this spot. But I mean, we're talking about the veteran leadership of the Penguins. To me, that seems like more like they hit their stride. And you gotta know that the Penguins now are using this month to hit the peak of their game going into the playoffs. Also, they got the type of veterans that know you can't lose against a team like the Rangers twice in a row, that you might play in the playoffs. In fact, it looks like you will play in the playoffs. You don't want to give that young team confidence at all. Like this is a game that they've got highlighted. We gotta put some doubt in the mind of these kids. And that's what the Rangers are. Most of them are kids, right? There's a lot of young players over there. And I think that's what they want. Now, I think the Rangers are going to go hardcore first period. Like they want to bust out Pittsburgh. Basically, because they beat Pittsburgh 5-1 last time. So the best thing you would think you would want to do here is try to get on top early to shake them from, to put in the memory of that last game. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was like 2 goals early. I don't know. Yeah, that might be another thing too. Pittsburgh might look at that as like, maybe we don't go too hard here, because if we lose, we kind of get it kind of make them think it's the underdog spot. That's not too far fetched actually. But I think there's more value in coming back and putting doubt in the Rangers' mind. I think there's more value in that. I think there's more value in them doing that, to putting the doubt in their mind. But either way, they can play it either way, right? That's the thing with Pittsburgh, is they know those veterans know how to take best advantage of whatever situation there is in. Now, if you just beat Detroit 11-2, I wonder if it's in the back of their minds that they got to play really good defense. The thing about the Rangers is they haven't played really good defense all year. Is it possible that also that, yeah, Pittsburgh could theoretically catch Carolina, but it's not likely. Boston could catch the Rangers. No. Boston would have to catch Toronto. That's right. I think also the Rangers wouldn't mind staying in this spot. Oh, and there's the other aspect too. If you are going to play the Rangers, one thing is for sure, you don't want to lose home ice advantage. Oh, Sunday? Okay, I'll probably be on for some of that. I won't be on for all 12 hours of it for sure, but I'd probably be on for some of that. But I think the biggest thing is Pittsburgh really doesn't want to give home ice advantage to the Rangers. That's a tough barn to win in. I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh is confident they can beat the Rangers. But if they're going to possibly lose against the Rangers in a 7-game series, it would be having those kids have that excitement of the new barn, you know. There's something about being in Madison Square Gardens, like it's electric. And you want to give those kids that first 2 games in there where, you know, you could easily get down by 2. Trent Hogan, oh my gosh. Wow. I was just going to head out, but actually I have to head out. Everybody comes in right at the end of the stream. Well, Minnesota now, I mean, now that they have Fleury, the Kaprizov kid is just absolutely crazy. What an insane player he is. Yeah, so I think Pittsburgh is going to have their full force in this game. I really think they want to make sure that they get home ice advantage against the Rangers. I don't think they're too driven to take first in the division. I think that they probably like the spot against the Rangers, but they want home ice advantage. Well, the thing about they'll have home ice. They'll take out Tampa Bay? I mean, they could. What are they? 87 points. Yeah, they could take out Tampa, I guess. And then they would play Tampa. Like I said, it's almost better that they stay in this spot, but you're not going to be able to tell them that. But they got to play Tampa. I'd almost rather stay in the wild card and play Florida. Florida's not a tough barn to win in. I mean, well, actually, Florida's been good at home, but the fans and everything. But you're not going to be able to tell them that. Boston just tries to win every game. That's going to be one hell of a tough series to beat Tampa, home ice or not. I'd certainly, if you ask me, I would take Florida over Tampa Bay for sure. But anyways, I got a bolt, you guys. I might be on tomorrow. I can't remember what I got tomorrow. You don't want the Bruins to play Toronto? I think the Bruins would have their best chance against Toronto, though. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Enough. Talk to you later. Thanks for coming on, everybody. I'll be on tomorrow probably. Have a great day. Okay, bye.